That's right. We're ready, everybody. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time. Welcome. Tech Moments. It starts with a concept that begins to spread virally. That's how we do it. Taking challenges on. Welcome, everybody. Yeah. All right. Welcome, everybody. Tech Moments with Mario. Vic, this is going to be a special show. We've alluded to it in the previous segments. And that's because tonight, this show is gearing up to promote and sell online 2013 style. That's right. I'll say that again. It's gearing up to promote and sell online 2013 style. And that's gearing up to promote and sell anything online. But this show is actually prompted by communications with our own Mac McAllister, G&N Bureau Chief. And we're going to have Mac call in and part of the show today once we get the introductions underway. So if that'll work out for you, Mac. But everybody, let me tell you what this is about. Mac McAllister, our buddy, has created a product to sell. Okay, let's go take a look for everybody who doesn't know. Let me get off here, my full screen. Mac McAllister loves to do 3D animations. This is something he discovered. Okay, now I'm going to show you an example of one. Here we are at his website. Okay, but here's an example of one that I think is about Victor and I.
Well, I know I'm not the brother with the long hair.
So that would be you doing the break dancing, right?
That's jacked up, man. I like that.
What happened was I actually was working on my music for tonight, The Quiet Storm, and I contacted Mac about this song that's playing right now. And I'll be playing that tonight in my show.
I haven't seen breakdancing off of soul music, man. I like this.
Well, everybody, Mac McAllister, the whole thing that we're showing you is because Mac does 3D animations, and he did a series that's all about how to do it. It's really 3D animation for dummies. But I want you to see an example of his work here. Now he claims he has made a tutorial that'll make this easy enough for a 12-year-old to do. Now the part of what we're going to be doing tonight is talking about the marketing and promoting of this, because this is a common issue. He has essentially it's a download. He has a show. He's made the show videos. He wants to sell them and have them available for download. I'm showing this to you right now so you can see an example of his 3D animation. Now, for those who don't know, this is going to be approximately 1 hour show. Later on, we'll be cutting it up and getting it up there to YouTube, but I'll be cutting out some of the stuff like this because of the audio. Or muting out the audio. But, and then at 8 o'clock tonight, remember, it'll be followed by The Quiet Storm. Okay? So let's go. All right. I want you to see what Mac has.
That was nice.
There you go. And there's the site. We're going to be playing that in its entirety on the Morning Coffee Show next week.
There we go, man. There we go.
All right. So the whole thing is that Mac has this website. Now, and I think it's important to take in the context of all of this. All right, because in order to understand exactly where it is, every week Mac McAllister produces a 1 hour show. It's called Online with Mac, Retro Jazz and Blues. It's the #1 retro jazz and blues show on the internet. Every week he produces that, and it goes up every Saturday. And he has a consistent following. This is his website. So everybody to take into, like doing an inventory, this is his website where he has a lot of his activities. This is the central place. Onlinewithmac.ning.com is the link. I want everybody to take into account all these things, okay, because it'll all come back into the discussion as we have this discussion about how to market and promote, because it actually takes to actually do the best job, we're going to have to sort of summarize and do an inventory first of what he has, because it's all going to be about what things do we want to add in addition to what else he's doing.
Right.
So keep in mind that's what he has. So he's already doing that. Every week he produces a 1-hour show.
Right.
It's uploaded into a player here on his site, and when you go there, it plays the latest one and then marches backwards.
Right.
Okay? Now, this is where he's built his following. Okay? So people know him for this. Mac is also, of note, would be that he's 73 years old. He's up in Port Townsend, Washington, and he has a long history in the industry as a DJ, as a photographer. He studied at the Sorbonne in France. So he's a very accomplished man. So and he's very well educated, and as much as he claims to be a non-techie, he's managed to produce all of this.
There you go, man.
Okay, now, but the issues he has is common to a lot of our folks who make things. Like if you have music to sell, okay, or whatever, anything that you're going to download. And now we're going to discuss the relative ways to approach this. Okay? Now, everybody, before we get started about this, I want to also make sure that you understand that my partner in crime over there is Victor Allen. The man, he's the man who has reinvented the video switcher because he works up to 3 of them, 2 routinely, but up to 3 of them routinely while he interacts live on the air. Again, something that's unheard of, but only Victor Allen does that. And he's going to be giving you his insights tonight also into these topics.
Especially while I'm doing my Java updates on my left side.
All right. Now, let's go take a look at what Mac has. Mac has a page at his website called 3D Animation for Dummies. Okay? When you go there, it's got a nice graphic, explains what he's trying to do. Okay? Now, he's got for $10. The videos are $10, and he's got the links. Now, Mac, here's the thing, Mac. Whenever you want, if you would like to call in, you can. But basically what he has is the video links here. So say you wanted to buy this, okay? Because, Mac, I have some questions about, like, where is it? But let's just say you click it here. That takes you to the video. I'm not sure I could buy it. Okay. So, Mac, we would want to know that. Or maybe that took us to that. Here's the Buy Now button. So when we click the Buy Now button, it takes us over to PayPal. We can purchase a video. Here. Okay? This is what Mac has. Okay? And this is what you would get. Okay? Now,
so would you say it's so far easy access, or did you? Because the journey through it is.
There's a link to the first graphic, and it took me off to a different place, but this works. Now, since we want to donate to Mac's cause, let's go on and buy a copy.
Right.
So that's what you're seeing us do. It says Video 1, Overview and Equipment. Now, Mac, you notice how that comes up, Overview and Equipment. He's got maybe a typo, lowercase e, or maybe he wants that. But that's something that just came up. I'm going to say pay now. Actually, everybody's seen us purchase this right on the air because we're sharing the experience. Okay, Mara, you just completed your transaction. We'll send you a confirmation email. Okay. Print receipt. We can go to the receipt. It says whatever we got there. So, okay. So now, let's see. Theoretically, I guess we get a link to where it is. Now, here's the thing I tell everybody. Go and buy stuff through your own services. These are the common sense things, but I can tell you that the majority of people that I've ever worked with have never done this.
Right.
I'm usually the one that tells them to do it. Okay? So I tell them to always go through and buy through their own service so they can see what it's like. So here's the link. It shows I paid. Okay?
So immediate email notification.
Right.
Good thing.
But I don't know where is the download. So that's one of the first things, right?
Right.
Okay, because now what Mac did is one of the easiest one. What PayPal allows you to do is connect a link to a file, and then make it a charge to get that download. Okay, now remember that in order to do this, this is all separate. That basically allows for people to be able to purchase it, assuming you can get them to the link. Right?
Right.
They could do what I just did. We just actually did it online. We purchased the first video, even though at this moment I don't know where the video is.
So then let me ask you this.
I didn't get any download. I don't have a download. So I've paid. Now, Mac, here's the other thing. I don't know if anybody else has bought the video. But remember, if I'm the first one, this is for something for you to check out.
Is it the videos through a third-party service? Or the distribution of the video itself?
The receipt I get is from PayPal.
Right.
That just indicates that I paid $10 to Norval McAllister.
It's the transaction that you got, but what you want to know is the product itself.
Right. I'm being a user.
Right.
So I would go, where's my video?
Right. And no, you rightfully so, because there's nothing to instruct you so far.
Right. Now, remember, this is not a critique.
No.
It's also to show you and compare the different types of download systems.
Right.
Okay? Because this would represent Mac doing what would be one of the simpler ways.
Right.
You have a file somewhere.
Straightforward.
You put a link to it,
right.
and PayPal processes.
Right.
Now, I don't know if typically there's one or two ways this happens. They can notify Mac, and he's supposed to send me the file.
Right.
Or it can be an automatic thing.
He said it is his first time that he used it. He actually is questioning and not sure how it works.
Well, that's why we're doing this together.
Right.
See, that's what I'm saying, and that's why I like doing it like this. Now, Vic, he can call in at any time.
Phone's on number 4.
If he wants to, Mac, you can call in any time, or I can go through this first part, and you can call in for the second half.
Yeah.
Because I have a couple of things I wanted to review. Okay? Now, so this is what Mac has now, you guys. Okay? Now, let's go to Mac's email, because from this point on, I think we have a clear idea of what Mac has. He's got a website that's popular based on something else.
Right.
Notice the way I'm going to lay out the inventory of what he has.
Right.
He has a website that he operates that's fully functional, and it is his center place.
Right.
And it's famous for something else, a show,
right.
Retro Jazz and Blues. Now he has a product, 3D animation how-to videos. It's supposed to be 3D animation for dummies.
Right.
Because we have to separate out the tasks in the ways we look at it, right, you guys?
True.
And remember, this is not so much a tutorial as a discussion, even though I must admit a lot of the discussions go between Vic and I.
Right.
So you can hear how we approach these things. Because one thing good about Victor and I, we have a lot of things that we do differently, which is why when we come together, it really seems to work especially well. So you're going to get to hear his endpoint versus mine. At this point, what we're doing, everybody, is we're taking an inventory. That's what I call it. When we look at what the client has to promote their product and what the product is. For Mac, we know it is how-to videos. We haven't seen one of the how-to videos yet.
Right.
Okay, because we don't know what we bought. But theoretically, we bought this video for $10, and he wants you to buy more.
Right.
Okay? All right. So the inventory we've made is that he has the site set up, and at the site, he has the videos.
And just to give you some input, Max said, it's just the condition. It doesn't mean can't call. He says, if he calls, he has to put the sound on mute because there's a 5-second delay on his end. So, I mean, he's just letting us know.
So he can wait for a while.
Right.
But there'll come a time. That's why.
Right.
He can do it through the chat room, Vic, if you help me with the chat room.
Yeah, if you see my hand go up, you know that it's a question from Max.
Okay, so you can get me with the chat room.
All right.
Okay, now, so everybody, we for right now, we're not going to deal with the product because we're not, in all of the shows we do, we never really critique the product so much as we critique the methods of selling the product.
Oh, great point that Mac just brought up. He assumed, he said that PayPal, he assumed if you go PayPal, it will direct you back to the video.
That's why he has, remember, this is why, remember, there's going to be pearls all through the show tonight.
Right.
What's the first pearl? Whatever system you set up to sell your stuff, you're always the first person to purchase it through that system.
It's the
Always.
you act as the purchaser.
Right.
Yeah.
And check the experience, because that's how you get it. Okay, good. Now, let's deal with Mac's questions, Vic, because this is where it's going to help guide us. Okay, Mac, can I read? Am I okay to read the email?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, I'm going to paraphrase the email. Okay, Mario, getting ready to launch website and all systems are go. Thanks to Ning and PayPal, they helped me get everything set up. When you go to the link 3D animation for dummies on my website, the PayPal button is linked to videos. No, the PayPal button is linked to paying for the videos.
Correct.
That's the first thing.
Correct.
Now, Mac, are the videos being hosted at Ning?
We're going to find out.
Okay, where? Because I'm curious, where are the videos actually being hosted? Now, this is the first question that confused me. Mac writes, Ning showed me how to create a URL link so I could delete the YouTube videos. Vic, comment. I don't know what he's talking about.
Right.
Mac, this is this. No. YouTube is where you're going to be promoting everything. I want everybody to understand, because I just did some looking tonight, and I wanted to get you guys. YouTube gets, depending on who you read, YouTube gets up to 10% of all web traffic in the world total.
Right, so you don't want to delete.
It is the number one way to promote everything.
So don't delete.
So what we're going to talk about is the ways that you use Facebook, the ways you use YouTube. You have to use them. It's how you use them. But all of them you will have to use. One of the things that we're going to be getting back in today is I'm going to be reminding you of some of the other things that have previously come up, because it really gets back to that. In other words, it gets back to the fact that in today's world, you don't hang out a shingle.
Right.
You don't hang out a sign and say, this is for sale like the old days and expect that to sale. It does not effectively work. What you really have to do is build a social network presence. Actually, we're going to be directing Mac in some ways back to the things he's been avoiding. That is building an online presence that incorporates Facebook, Twitter, and all those things in an ongoing fashion, because that's the way he'll be able to tap best into his audience.
Yep. Just to answer your question that you directed at Mac, where you're hosting the videos at Ning.
Okay, so Ning allows you to store things there, but he also could have stored them at Hipcast.
Right.
Okay, so now depending upon what they're charging you, I don't know what they're charging you. They may let you store it for free, but remember, always try to get storage space online for free.
Hipcast.com, right?
Yeah, he has an account there.
Okay, good.
He has an account, so he can store there also.
Right.
Now, by the way, none of that has anything to do with the YouTube videos. First of all, if you're trying to sell the videos, they should not be on YouTube in the full-length form. But there should be some form on YouTube that directs and promotes, because the ways you guys got to remember is that all of these sites represent communities. It's never an either or.
Right.
We're going to come back to this, because this is an issue that Mac was bringing up. He was really looking at them as either or, and it's never either or. They all are communities, and each site represents a distinct community. And so when you go there, your goal is to promote your product to that community. Because we're going to talk about using YouTube, the same, and Facebook, and Reverb Nation.
Another point that you're bringing up, because you're covering the grounds also, he actually is going, if I used YouTube, he could not link the video to PayPal, meaning the relationship between YouTube and PayPal. This doesn't exist. Or, for whatever reason, is there capabilities, which I don't think there are.
This was where there was the disconnect.
Right.
It wasn't ever that you were going to put the videos on YouTube and link payment to them.
Right.
You were never going to do that. You were always going to post the videos in a private account, whether they be at Ning or Hipcast, and then or wherever, and then link payment to that. You were, however, going to put promotional videos at YouTube
to do
for every episode.
Right. Everything you do.
In other words, if you do a 15-minute episode that you're trying to sell for $10, you should have a 90-second, 1 minute, 90-second promo video.
Right.
That people watch on YouTube that then directs them to has the same link to purchase. So you would go and produce that as a separate video, one for every episode. This is why I'm going to go through Mac's level. I actually numbered things because there were 5 major points we needed to set Mac right on. Okay? So the first thing was that YouTube is never where you put videos for now. For now. Because they've had paid programs, and they do have them.
Right.
They just cut them back for various reasons, and they're not doing it. But for now, no matter what you're doing, and I don't know how many times I will have to say this, but I will say it as many times as necessary. No matter what you're doing, you will promote it at YouTube. No matter what you're doing or selling.
Right.
So you will either make commercials, if you have a version of something, whether it's a song or a video, and you don't want them to have the whole thing, you will make a promotional video that you will put at YouTube, and that promotional video will not include everything.
Right.
Okay? I want to make sure that that's clear.
Well, he admits something. He says on his end, he doesn't know how to set it up, which you're alluding to already. Also,
he doesn't know how to set up what?
He was referring to the YouTube video with the PayPal when we was going back to that conversation.
Because it doesn't do that.
Right. We needed to understand that. He doesn't do it.
Mac, you were running into problems because you were attempting to do something that isn't done.
Right.
That's why you ran into problems. You were contacting people to do things that they don't do, as opposed to the things that they do. And that's where we're going to help him. That's where we're going to help him.
And a lot of people use videos at YouTube the way you're talking about it, Mario, where they embed the information in the video. Click here to go to this. They instruct within the video, even if you do it the old school way where you just actually are promoting it like you're talking about.
Yeah, it's still a promotion video with some information in it. Remember, we didn't get into how you promote it. That's another whole show in of itself, right? I just said, if you're selling something, you're going to make a commercial for that thing.
That's right.
And you're going to put that commercial on YouTube.
Right. All day.
Okay, and then you probably are going to also use that in your channel. See, we're going to talk, because what happens is there's a lot of things we do and they kind of overlap and people get confused. That's why Mac's email was so important to me.
Well, he got it. He said, okay, he got it. He's on page with you right now.
Okay, because we're going to move through each of the tasks. So that's the first thing. Now, all things being equal, when someone clicks on the link, they pay $10 and download the video. You see, that's already not the purpose.
Right.
I mean, the function. It didn't work, right?
Right.
So far you have me, who would be a potentially pissed off person, because I didn't get anything.
Right.
Okay?
Right.
But that's why now, as part of this, we're going to talk and look about the alternatives. Because, again, remember, every place that you can sell and market things are different, but they're never, ever all or none, either or. Mostly you could do all of them. Now, but let's go back to Mac's email. Now, Mac, assuming that had worked and I had gotten a link to the video, you would have said, okay, cool. Now, how do I market the project? And I put in big red letters, exactly. Mac, this is the part where I bring you back home. In order to market the product, you have to become active in social media. The things that we talked about last year.
Right.
In other words, here's where we come back. See, it's not that you jump up and spring things on the world nowadays. You get active in social media so that the world knows Mac McAllister. That way, when Mac McAllister comes out with whatever he comes out with, the whole world, his community goes, ooh, look at Mac's new things. So, in order to do this, you have to be active in social media. Now, when I say get active, that means use it every week. For you, Mac, who's retired, we could discuss every day. Because then you have to say, why not? We're talking about minutes a day. Now, because that's actually how you sell it. Now, you say, well, Mario, what do you mean? Now, Mac, had you been on Facebook every day talking about jazz and blues and establishing contact, remember we had talked about spending 1 hour a day, 2 hours a day, then you would be with a goal of building up people who know you personally at some rate, 3 a day, 5 a day, 20 a week. Then you would have been building up followers in an active way so that no matter what you sprung on them, they would look. Part of what you're doing, and it's also the thing that was documented really clearly to us. Remember in the buzzing communities, you have to market to your community that already exists. That means if you have a site, your own website, and you're not marketing to the people who are already at your website, you're ignoring the first group.
Right.
Okay, that's what best thing. Now, so what do we mean? So, ideally, you would be actively communicating with your site people by posting daily or 3 or 4 times a week.
Right.
Postings at your site, a weekly, because since the show comes out every week, he should at least have a blog about every show, right?
Yeah, potential buyers are right there every week.
Yeah,
every
some
day.
item about the show.
Right.
What's in the show, because it comes out every week. What he did in the show, short things. And then interact with those same people to build a bigger community online. Now, why is this important? Because Mac is attempting to sell 3D animation videos for dummies. Who is the audience to buy that? So it's not going to be the regular 3D animation, because here's the things that one of the things that I do routinely. I search 3D animation forums. So they're way more techie than this.
Right.
So this would mostly be new people, right?
Correct.
So he would have to be convincing new people.
Correct.
About this. Now, what's good about it, let's show you how Mario investigates these things, because we're still in the, and I'm trying to move quickly, in the take inventory. If you go to YouTube and search 3D animation,
And while you're doing that,
how to, and DIY. Go on, Vic.
The only reason why, because I don't want you to get too far away from his response. He says, since I'm a one-man band in Po-Town, have to delegate some of the promos to someone to market the project.
Well, maybe or maybe not. Remember now, we show you, okay. Here's the thing. This is what I would say, because this is what I found out. Vic and I had these same discussions about all the things that need to be done. What we decided to do is we discussed it, and I said, I'm going to time it. What I will tell you is the tasks that need to be done, actually, when you actually time the amount of time, can be kind of brought down to something that moves quickly. It's a matter of the prioritization.
Right.
We're not talking about things that require 6 to 10 hours a day.
Right.
We're having a discussion of 1 to 2 hours a day.
Right.
See, that's why. It has to do with how you use your time. Remember, in the book, they discussed that, how you use your time. But again, let's move forward, Mac. We're going to do that. Make your notes and question, Max, because we're going to do that in next week's show. Okay? Because remember, we won't finish today, but I'll raise enough questions, okay? But so write all your questions out. Everybody, this is an ongoing, so we will do this next week too.
Right.
Mac is the focus, and we're going to end up having that discussion, okay? Because we'll come back. But let's deal with a couple of things real quickly. Okay? That's that whole issue of social media. Remember, everybody, Vic and I are going to continue to reinforce this. No matter what you're going to be selling, you can get busy now establishing a presence in social media. If you're not tweeting, if you don't understand about tweeting, solve that now. Take that on as an issue now. Because you need to learn Facebook, you need to learn Twitter. That is your job. Okay? And it's not something that's going to take 10 hours. It's going to take 1 hour of directed reading. Okay? Really, most people, like I said, if you do anything here that if I ever give you something where it's usually over an hour, let me know. Mostly what we find is people that put zero time, right? Zero reading. So it's never a question that they've done 2 or 3 hours.
Right.
So we're going to talk about, you're going to have to deal with Facebook and Twitter in a progressive way. That means be on there talking to people so they know you. Luckily, because Mac does that show, he has the vehicle, right?
Right.
To gain audience. And that's where he builds his audience, and they're going to get into 3D animation because he's into it.
Well, he says he has enough input to get focused on the marketing and game plan. So, it chases you down no matter what. It's going to come back around to you because it's a catch-22. It's almost a requirement that people are going to ask you about the Twitter, the Facebook, the things you're alluding to, that they're going to ask, do you have that to qualify what you do? It's almost like we said the traditional business card is really your business card online. It's your app. Well, and how you commercialize it if you're trying to commercialize your product.
Well, exactly. And remember, Mac's going to have all those things. But let's talk about how you market to your own site, right? Mac's site, onlinewithmac.ning.com. He has his audience, right?
Right.
Now, because it's a Ning website, Vic, and I'll sign in because Mac has got me set up as administrator Make sure I get in okay. So I can go in and tweak things to help him. That's how we keep now. So let me show you what example, Mac. Let's go, and now we're inside the site. So now.
You're listening to Mario Hemsley, Old Cat.
We got to get to, in the site settings, he moved some of the stuff around. Okay. Because one of the things I was going to tell Mac, when he goes into it, maybe I have to go to the other one. Let me go over.
Oh, he has an interesting question.
I signed into the wrong one.
He says, do I have to hire a community manager? Mac, you're already the community manager.
No, Mac, you are the community manager. You just have to do the stuff. You don't want to do it. See, some stuff is I can't, and some stuff is I don't want. So this one, because we're obvious, when you get to Mac, you start talking about which one is the I don't want. Because everything we're talking about he can do. No, you're supposed to do it, because here's the issue. This is the good news. This is actually how you learn to promote your stuff. Okay, I made my mistake. If I log in with the proper login instead of .com, Mario at packstereo.tv, I get to go into Mac's site and do some administration. I'm about to show you something. No, Mac, I'm telling you, Mac, take a deep breath. I'm only talking about 1 to 2 hours a day, and it doesn't have to be every day. But that's all we're talking about.
Right.
Let's go here. You're the community manager, and by practicing the stuff, you actually are learning today's marketing. It is one of the best ways to learn while on the job, by doing what you're already doing. Mac already by learning more, the better run his own empire. You know, it gets to work on his own stuff, right. And that's the learning. But I want to show you a couple points. When you go and sign into Mac's site, as any Ning site as administrator, you get to your dashboard. One thing that the dashboard is that you have you have something called the message broadcast. Look here, it says dashboard. Then here's the different functions. Under members, you have management, invitation, profile questions. Then something called message broadcast. This message broadcast allows you to send an email out to all your site members. And you can format it with HTML. That means you can put links in this.
You see people do flyers with it. You see, especially, club promotions. You see a lot of people use it that way. I'm like, he's doing a parent-child test.
Yeah, Mac, Mac, here's the thing, Mac, really. You're supposed to do it with our help. But we're going to help you. But you could do it. We're going to make it simpler. So Mac wants to send out emails promoting. Whenever Mac wants to send out emails promoting his site, he should think of doing two things: sending a message broadcast,
right,
and also to do a blog item, which could show up on his landing page.
True that.
So he should do. Remember, we talked about, since he has a weekly show. What did we say before? What are the two ones that should go out weekly? Some kind of a message broadcast about the latest show.
Right. On what's
because
coming.
What are you attempting to do? To make your community feel like you're having continuous communication with them for the least amount of work. In other words, Mac has to continually talk to his community. He's going to do that by broadcasting messages every week about his show.
Right.
And things he's doing. He's going to post that blog. Then in that, he can promote to his own community his 3D animation videos.
Right.
Okay? But that's always to be the start, okay? Now, because I'm going to move fast because we're going to pick up some stuff next week and we're going to go into more detail. Now, besides that, remember, Mac, you also can post blog items yourself. We suggested a blog item about the weekly show the same way, and also a tweet. Okay, now, let me tell you another thing. Mac said, he wrote us, Vic, I want to read this part. He said, checked on Hootsuite but do not understand their marketing plan. First question, we didn't know what you meant by that. Because what do you mean by Hootsuite's marketing plan? Hootsuite is a tool that allows you to interact with your online presence from one place. So that if you have multiple Twitter accounts, multiple other accounts, you can access them all from one place. It is a management tool that allows you, instead of having to separately go to 10 different sites to log in and post, you could actually go to one site and post to all of them simultaneously. That's the way you use it. You use it to post tweets and comments to interact with your communities.
Right.
So again, that's what I was saying for him to get started. with this. Now, in terms of Hootsuite, then another word of advice. Mac wrote, he said, I have not signed up yet. Want to make sure I understand what they cannot do. Mac, you can't learn that without signing up. The way it goes actually is a reverse order. You sign up, and then you go look at what they do.
Right.
And then that's how you learn what they do. You go look at the features.
He said it's above his pay grade.
Hootsuite is free. Hootsuite is free. So the thing he may have seen, you got to be careful. You look at these things. These are absolutely free services.
Right.
So if you're looking at the paid ones, you got to look a little closer.
Right.
Sign up for the free one. There's almost nothing that we're talking about so far.
True.
That you're going to have to pay. Now, and we'll come back to that later. We'll go to a different show of how to use Hootsuite. I would just say for right now, remember, it's the easiest way to set up, to have it to interact with your, so you can post comments at Facebook, but you can go to all of those for now individually. Okay? So that's the way they're used. And we'll go in a different show. We'll talk about Hootsuite. I also can say that you can go online to YouTube and get videos on Hootsuite that'll explain how people are using it. But it is a very valuable. Vic, is Hootsuite something you use, Vic?
Yeah. I try to use it as often as possible. And
yeah, it's one of our main tools.
And also, always understand that when there's any problems or troubleshooting of any type with any of the subjects Mario's talked about, as well as Hootsuite, put it in the form of a question in Google, and then go hit YouTube and see how many people will take you through these short little exercises. It is a wonderful way to answer some of the questions that Mario's addressing if you need to get this repeated over and over again until this video is available again.
Again, we got 15 more minutes. Now, Mac also said this. He said he cannot add a link to the box, so he's having trouble using Hootsuite. Mac, specifically, Hootsuite allows you to tweet links. It shortens the links, again, free. Okay? Now, you say there's no way to use YouTube as a promo. No, you actually put the promo videos on YouTube.
Right.
Then you tweet the links to the promo video.
There you go.
And you said the same problem with Facebook. Right, with the same solution. You use Hootsuite or you go directly to Facebook to post links to the promo videos.
Right.
And interact and talk with your community. Now then he says, I have 196 subscribers but cannot send out an email to everyone at the same time. Facebook will say I'm setting spam, will shut down my account. What the fuck? Right, because you don't do that.
Right.
That's not the way it's done.
No, you can't.
You go online daily and interact with the people by putting regular postings, and that's how you interact with them. You do not interact. See, it's a different world. You don't interact with these online communities by sending email blasts.
No, that whole thing is gone.
No.
Period. Can't
But
do that.
I did show you how you can send an email blast to your own website, though. That is not spam. Right?
Right.
So when I showed you how to go to Ning to your own website subscribers and send them a message blast, it's called a message broadcast, that's not spam.
Right.
And no one supervises. That's yours. So you can certainly send it out to all the people of your Ning site, okay?
And also, he's responding time-wise. An hour a day is wonderful, Mac, dedicated. I guarantee you start off an hour, you'll get more. It won't even come down to let me get up to an hour. Your exercises will keep you there. And you can ask any of the chat room, Norm, PMC, you follow what they're doing. It's really simple. Once you learn it and you maximize the contact with the people one-on-one, explaining exactly the way Mario's explained it to you as what you're doing, it's addictive.
And that's why the important thing is to get started. I would sign up for Hootsuite. Once I signed up for Hootsuite, I would go to Hootsuite's own tutorial section.
Right.
To learn how to best use Hootsuite. But we can guarantee you that it's free and that it'll be worthwhile. Okay? And remember, the Ning people, we talked about how to use that. Okay, so I'm trying to hit some of these things quickly because we're going to return next week with more questions. And remember, we still have the quiet storm. Okay, now, next question: live stream, okay, versus Ustream. Mac says he could justify a 50% charge, but why? No, Mac. Ustream, live stream, they all offer almost the same things. The paid services are different. That's why you guys actually have to go look at the stuff. Ustream has a 50% charge for pay-per-view. Pay-per-view is not a download. Pay-per-view is an event like someone has a concert. a live concert and you pay to enter the concert, it's a pay-per-view. The same way as any pay-per-view like on cable. Like if a boxing match came up, they'll say pay-per-view so-and-so boxing match.
Right.
So it's like that. It's not for a download. Now, having said that, live stream, I went to get the latest statistics, okay, you guys, just because to remind you, YouTube gets about 10% of all web traffic. That's why you have to promote there. But when it comes to sites where people can go and watch your stuff, Ustream is the most important. It is the number 12th ranked most popular streaming site. But all the other ones are like Hulu, Vimeo, okay?
Right.
I'm talking about places where you could post. Ustream has an estimated 12 million unique visitors monthly. Now, you know how many YouTube has? YouTube has 450 million monthly visitors. I'll say that again. YouTube has 450 million monthly visitors. The biggest streaming site, that's a site where you can stream directly into them, which you can't, which is, let's just leave YouTube and them off that list for now, even though it's complicated, it's coming. Ustream would be the biggest, with 12 million unique monthly visitors, okay? When it comes to the next most popular sites after Ustream is Justin, and Justin has 7 million unique monthly visitors.
Right.
Then live stream is way down. But here's the point. Remember, it's never either or. Each one of these sites represents a community. And you make your profiles at each one to market yourself to each community.
And to answer your question, Mac, but is Ustream promoting the video? No, you are. You're making a profile.
None of them are promoting your video.
Don't even go to apps to think that they're promoting you.
Nobody is promoting you.
They're actually asking you or requesting you, or you a volunteer, to make your app, or whether it's Twitter, Facebook, or anywhere. He says you're the one who's going to engage in the community development, outreach, promotion, and communication. You do it. If you go set up the account, nothing's promoted just because you go set it up and you wait for them to do that. It doesn't happen.
Right. Say you send an email about your 3D animation, a message blast to your website members, and you would see how many would go and listen. But theoretically, you would go out and spend within your hour to 2 hours per day.
Right.
Trying to recruit people to look at your stuff.
Right.
And what you usually find is that the more time you put into it, the more you get. You actually get them for every time. For every person you engage and say, here I am, I'm Mac, this is what I do, take a look at this.
Right. It's like you having a birthday party and you tell somebody and say, you know what, I'm going to have a birthday party. I'm in my neighborhood, so I'll just wait to see if everybody comes. He says, no, what you get involved in your birthday party is how you go out and promote it. You got to go tell people so they can come to your household. It's the old adage. You get what you put into it. And apps, it's the same thing. I know people who just sit there and say, I'm going to go put my video at YouTube. People will find it and discover it.
Right.
You can't do it.
We're going to go over more of this next week. Some of the things we're going to talk about next week are metadata. What do we mean by that? Remember, if you're posting videos on YouTube and you're not putting in descriptions, you're doing yourself a terrible disservice.
Right.
You're cutting your audience to a fraction.
Right.
So we tell people when you post videos, and like say you post a weekly video and you call it weekly video date, this date.
Right.
You're doing yourself a disservice.
And remember what
you really need. Look at what we're doing and what people are writing about metadata.
Right.
You can search it like Google said. Victor would say, go search on Google how to best write metadata. So when you post these videos, you need to really describe them in the best ways, and they'll talk about that. Certain rules, like having certain links up in front.
Right.
Has a higher percentage of people clicking on. We're going to talk about all these things next time. We're going to talk about live stream, Ustream, why you actually use all of them. Why you actually use all of them. We're going to talk about the other places to sell downloads online. The two you must look at, Create Space, which Amazon bought, and lulu.com, Lulu.com. These are the other two places, Mac, where you could actually, not exclusive of this, you don't have to tear any of this down. You could go all around the internet, I could tell you, and post your same downloads for your 3D animation. And what we would suggest is you put it at every community that is significant.
Right.
So you would actually put it on more than one site. You might have it in lulu.com. You might have it at CreateSpace, which will get it on amazon.com. You might want to get it so the promos are showing up on iTunes. All these things we're going to talk about in the upcoming weeks. Okay? All right? And then we'll be talking in more detail about how you use Facebook and Ning and Twitter to better promote these things. Vic?
Yeah, just simply, Mac. It's really simple. The good thing about YouTube is that it's the biggest when you come to video, period, and a place where people can search and find you. The bad thing about it is don't put your video there and expect them to find it. The attitude is you take the video, you upload your content, whatever you're going to do with it, and you find a way to communicate that link out to as many people as possible so they can view it. So everything is really the energy that you put into it. And when you get to the metadata, which I think it is big, when you follow how that will help you so much, you will realize that you may not send out a video. Do 2 videos as a test. Take one where you sit it there and it's at YouTube. And you take a second one, it's at YouTube. Take one and you promote it and you send it to people and let the other one sit there and see which one gets the most viewers. And it's a wonderful exercise to show you that doing nothing may get you something, but not much, unless it's a wonderful video, those shock videos. Other than that, man, everything you use, Twitter, Facebook, everything is an activity every day.
And that's the thing to get to your mind. By the way, Matt, just so you know, even though YouTube is the #1 popular video site, Daily Motion is #4. We have accounts there.
Right.
Meta Cafe is #5. Okay, we have accounts there. All right. So you could have accounts at all of those. You would actually try to do at Ustream the same thing you do at Livestream and the same thing you do at YouTube, which is to promote to those communities.
Right.
Remember, they are all their own communities and represent where people go to watch video. So you would want to advertise and promote yourselves to that community. By the way, that's why our show segments, if you go look, our show segments, Morning Coffee, are on Reverb Nation. If you type Morning Coffee, oh, there it came up. Morning Coffee. People say, why do you have the show segments at Reverb Nation? Because they have a community. This is a free site. It's a free site that allows you to promote and interact with the community. So guess what? All of our show segments have Reverb Nation.
Right.
So Mac would want to have a presence here, both as what? Maybe Mac and his online with products end up having presences.
Right.
So Mac could have a presence both up here as himself. And again, so Mac, in a minute when you have all these sites and you go to each site for 10 minutes a day, see what I'm saying?
Right.
That becomes your job. You go there, you talk to people, you promote, you do X amount of time per day at all your sites. And at some point, you're going to see the return is fairly immediate, because if you write 10 people, you can guess how many are going to write you back.
Right.
Okay, because you're going to pick them for certain reasons. And that way, you're going to build community daily, where you can build 5 to 10 to 20 people per day yourself in your own community, and then start to market to them using the same materials we've been talking about.
Right.
Okay, this is what we're doing, you guys. Now, get ready to get to one last thing, everybody. Ongoing developments with the low power FM. The licenses are going to be received in October. We are going to be applying to the FCC for a 100-watt license. For those of you interested, please go to PrometheusRadio.org and find out. Tavis is them and gentlemen jumping on this. By the way, if you go to Blog Talk Radio, you should see what Tavis Smiley, what influence that Tavis Tavis Smiley has a blog talk, you guys. Look, there's the landing page. Okay, it's the new Tavis Smiley Network.
He's starting his network through the progressive radio apps and called the Evolving Energy. And one thing he's done is adopt, and I'm not going to say not because it hasn't been good or bad traditionally, but he's found a way where he says, I can celebrate doing this. I can go online anytime, on demand, anytime. So he's pushing the relationship. And another thing you have to also keep in mind, the brilliance of actually the work you do is to be able to constantly resell the brand of the people, collaborations, and relationships you have around them. So it's one thing, if you've ever watched people do, whether you agree with their philosophy, agree with their points of interest, they always reinforce, like we say, Online with Mac, PMC, Norm. That's constant rebranding. You're supposed to do that as a norm. Thank you, acknowledgement every time you come on the air. Watch these cats. Watch him. He's good. And what he did with Blog Talk to me was big because he not only said I'm going to have my radio show, I have a network coming. Same philosophy.
He said network, you guys. Remember, always going to tell you the one thing I will bug you is always the thing big. And I know sometimes it's a little scary. But remember, it's never costing you more.
Right.
So why would you ever do less than?
Right.
And another thing is, like I told Mac, I've proven to most of my competitors that by organization, two people can get tremendous amounts of work done. Vic was not a techie. Now our level of efficiency is just off the charts. We can tell you how to be more efficient, and that's my goal. My goal is to educate you, show you the methodology. It'll almost always be free. That's kind of my calling now. I'm going to be pointing you all at the best ways to do things. I think it'll almost always be free. And the challenge I will make to you is, why not try to do all of them? If you work along with me, let me know how many hours a day it's taking you. We'll talk about all of that. I'm suggesting you're going to shock yourself. For those of you who have the luxury to put in 4 hours a day toward your own private enterprise, and if you have the time to do more, I would suggest to actually consider this for a period of time with specific goals, because that's how we did it. Norm was there in the beginning. You know, Mac's been there for a long time. People have seen us turn it around, but it's really the same methodology. I'm never holding back any secrets from you guys. I always show you exactly the same things that we do. That way, when you get recommendations, it's not on theory. It's based on somebody who's used them all. Okay? Used them all. Okay? So, again, thank you very much. Remember, communicate next week. Max, send me another one of your letters. You know, we took an hour, but you could see how it could take more. But I think the topics were so relevant for everybody.
Right.
Okay, and that's why I wanted to do it. I want to thank Mac McAllister for sending in that email and inspiring us to tackle these topics. Okay, everybody?
Good.
Again, that's been Tech Moments. Tech Moments.